Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations. Thanks for tuning in today. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. It keeps me coming at you and definitely helps my channel, helps me to keep coming at you. Today, we're going to be doing a little decor piece that I am quite frankly making for my front window in my house. I have done no holiday decorating there. It's all been for the store. So I'm going to be a little selfish today, and I am making this for me. And I've had this idea sitting and floating around in my head for a while, so I'm quite excited to finally get a chance to be able to put this together. Now, what I have done is I have thrifted two big kind of fish bowls. And, you know, if you really want them as fish bowls, you can use them as fish bowls after the holiday season. So we're not destroying them in any way. So what I will do with them, give them a good cleaning. So, you know, I've got some glass cleaner over here. They're gonna need a good clean and zhuzh. I have cut some little wood shapes. And I'm going to be using those, but when we get to that, I'm going to give you an alternative so that this could be super fast, super easy, super simple to be able to assemble. The biggest paint job is this. I have, I would say an old cookie tin, but I kept forgetting to bring an old cookie tin in. So it's a brand spanking new one from the dollar store, and this is a round wood disc from the dollar store as well. Came in like a 5 or 6 pack, so very inexpensive. I need to get these painted black, and in the interest of time, I'm gonna take them over by the door so it doesn't get too stinky, and I am just gonna spray paint them. So I'm gonna get that done off camera because really there's no magic or art to spray painting. I'm gonna get them going, and then we'll come back and we'll start talking about the little houses. Deal? Okay, while I have my tin and board off drying, that is going to be the hat that sits on top of my snowman. So what I'm looking at doing for this guy is first thinking about what goes inside it. Now, easy thing to do is to put a bunch of white in there, which is your snow, some bottle brush trees, and if you have a Christmas village, like one of the small ones, taking pieces of that, putting that in there, you're good to go. I have a big Christmas village, so that doesn't fit in there. In which case, what I thought that I'd do is I would just paint up a couple of small little houses and do that very quickly and see how that fits in there so that I have some options. So I am just going to get these painted out. I'm using DIY paint. I'm thinking I'm gonna do some in green. I'm gonna do some in red. I may do some in cake batter, like a pale kind of goldeny yellow, just for a little bit of contrast in there. But I'm really looking at them being quite simple. So the first step is just to get a base color all over them. And then I can work on the next step. So I'm gonna use Monet's Garden, Marquee, and cake batter and get a couple of these houses all painted out. I'll have some of the shorter ones up top, some of the taller ones in the bottom. Yeah, and then we'll start being able to put this together. Really shouldn't be too long of a process. And if you've got the small little mini village, man, you're pretty much done before you start. While the little houses are drying, we can move forward with this hat. Now, I've got this all spray painted. I don't need to do the bottom. And I left the lid on. It still comes off, so it's still a usable tin after all is said and done. It's a little slick looking. What I want to do is get it glued down onto the disc. Now, I did paint both sides because you're gonna be lifting it up and off, so you're gonna see it. I only had to do inside the rim, but it was just easier to do it all. I didn't have to worry about where it was going. So what I'm looking at doing, oh my goodness, I have this all jammed under. I'm just gonna go for 2 edges. And that should be fast enough. I think it was probably my futzing was trying to get it centered that did it. Okay, as I go to do some of the other trim, I will be able to get it on. But it makes a fairly decent little lid, little hat. Okay, what I picked up from the dollar store is just this one single Christmas dish towel, because I want to do a rim and then I want to do a scarf, and I wanted them to match, and this was the easiest way to go. Now you could do ribbon and then a scarf, or you could have bought just a real scarf, you know, whatever. So I'm going to cut this. It's got a seam already. And I'm going to fold it down to be another seam. I'm just looking at, I could go fairly tall on this. So what is lovely is that because it's got the plaid, I have built-in cutting lines. Okay. I don't want this to go around. I'm just measuring to see how much of it I need. So we'll go to here. Just so there's a little bit of an overlap. And I'm gonna make sure that this finished edge is what I end with. But I am going to want this to have a finished edge too. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue down along there just to get it to stick together. If you're into sewing, you could sew this. But I already said this is for me. And I don't care enough to get out the sewing machine and sew. Sewing stresses me out, so this is just supposed to be a fun craft. In which case, it's more fun for me to glue. Glue is my friend. Okay, and I just want to put a little dab down in here because that's where my end is going to be. Awesome. So I'm going to put my glued edge down so that my good edge is what you mostly see. So I'm going to glue this one end first. And that was my cut edge. So that raw cut edge is glued down. And really, I just need to put glue on this finished edge now. It's not going to matter about it being glued all the way around. And so after, if I take it apart and I want to use my tin, not a big deal. Okay, already it's a cute little hat. All right, so what I want to do is I want to cover up that little seam, and so that's going to be where I put a little bit of my festive decor. So I have a couple of little sprigs and a couple of little berries here. Oh, I like that bunch better. I don't like. So I'm just going to, maybe a little pine cone. So I'm just going to stick these on to, you know, just jolly him up a little bit, right? We're going to have a nice festive looking little snowman. Okay, so that's his little hat. Off to the side. with the hat. Now, I'm gonna go check on the status of my houses because that's the last thing really that I need to get painted up and finished. And then the rest is all, well, okay, wait. Let me maybe do his scarf. I know I need a scarf. And I don't think, so if this is him, so I'm going to need to have, this kind of coming around him, and then I'm gonna have to have pieces coming down. So this is gonna have to go all the way around. Okay, because you saw, it just kind of wraps around and then we don't end up with a lot of dangling. You know, the requisite knotted and dangling. So I'm gonna cut this in a couple of pieces. So this piece I can do around him. I can't do that yet because I haven't stuffed him. And then what's nice about this fabric actually is it doesn't fray as I cut it, so I'm really not too worried about rough edges at all. Now that my little houses are dry, and these I just cut on my little scroll saw, which is hiding back there. Just out of little lightweight pine boards from Taekwondo, board breaking actually. And all I'm looking to do is, because this is for me, I don't need it to be super crazy awesome, and really they're gonna be inside my snowman. So I am just taking a white paint marker and I am painting on some white windows. So just painting them on in white. And I'll show you. So painting them on in white, outlining them in black, using a black Sharpie, so that I have, you know, a little house like this, this, all kind of different. So I'll do these two shortly. Just to spiff them up a little, you know, they're kind of boring. I had thought that what I would do is take a little bit of this fake snow. So it's kind of like a polyfill, all ground up. So kind of nice. And I'm just gonna take some glue. Just seeing about opening this up and run it across the rooftops a little bit, and then stick a little bit of snow up there, because they're gonna be in my little vignettes, which is all gonna be snow. So I'm just sticking a little bit of snowy fluff up there, and it can just be as basic as that. So I'm gonna stick snow on each of them, so it looks like, you know, they're kind of in this winter wonderland. Get some of that snow happening across the top of each of the roofs. And then what I do have is a little bit of just some pine that I've cut that I may just kind of, let me stick a little one on here. Just stick a little bit of greenery on the front of the houses. So just giving it a little bit of the pine bough. I have some little tiny red berries. I may stick a little bit of that there too, just to give it a little bit of zhuzhing, because I'm gonna stick some bottle brush trees in there with them, but they're gonna be sort of surrounding them rather than being right by them, and so that the houses don't look so stark. Let me just get a little bit of red here. So just a little bit of whimsical elements. Now you could go to town. You could go to town with these houses. Okay, I didn't intend that to be any kind of pun. But you could take a lot more time. You could put some little shingles on. You could make tiny little wreaths for the doors. I mean, if you really want to go crazy, right? I'm just giving you a rough idea, and again, I'm not selling these. This is just for me, so I'm cool with it like it is. I may take a little bit. I've got this moss, and I may take a little bit of it and just stick it on a couple of the houses as well, so that it looks sort of like bushes down in front, so they don't all have the fir tree look. Just to switch it up a bit. Let me stick one more on here. So again, just a little bit of greenery on there. So I'm gonna get those little houses all done, and then all my pieces are ready. We'll just do the final assembly, and then my snowman is finished. All right, to kind of assemble these, what I have is kind of cotton batting, which just really freaks me out. It catches on everything, and just cutting it just gives me the creeps. Just saying. Anyway, I got this from the dollar store, so a bag of it, and I'm not even using the whole bag. So I just want to turn in all of the edges so that there's not going to be any cut edges showing, and squish it down in the bottom, and this becomes my base. And I had 3 tall houses and 3 shorter houses, and really I'm just looking at kind of nestling them in however makes sense. Now this is where my extra snow kicks in, because I've got like little bits of some of the fluffy stuff that I can put kind of around the edges and fill in where, it just creates some little gaps. And just kind of stick my houses in there. I'm not gluing anything because this is for me. I just have to transport it home, and I can fix it when I get there. I'm just looking kind of to have it be not everything needs to be a permanent display, right? So you might want to have some things that you could take apart. So I have a bunch of bottle brush trees, and my big green ones are going to be too big. I'll put a couple of these blue ones into this one. I had some little mini ones that I put in the smaller of the two. And let me just kind of nestle those in. So again, you don't have to do these wooden houses. You could put in some of your little miniature village houses. You could pick some up from your dollar store if they've got some of the little guys. I might put a couple of these little tiny guys over by the houses, so there's a little bit more greenery there. Because I can. Okay, so then we put this on top. So let me show you so far. This is what we end up having, is kind of like this tiered village. Okay, that looks cute already. I like that. You know, we've got our hat. So our hat goes up on top of our snowman. All right, so now we got this. Now you could pretty much stop there if you want, meaning, you know, if you just wanted to be able to see more of the village, and here I have to just kind of look to see front and back here. So you could just stop right there. Oh, I was gonna have those swoops hanging down, but I'm thinking that the scarf is likely going to be enough. Just kind of that little bit of crisscrossing. I don't want to cover up any more of that. Now, I did debate whether I was going to, and I'm just kind of doing little dabs of glue here on the scarf to kind of hold it in place here. I did debate whether to put, you know, a face on him and buttons on him and that kind of stuff, right? So I had cut them out for the possibility of it, but I gotta tell you, I think I'm leaving him like this. I think that this is enough. You get an idea of what he is, and I don't think that you need to have the face. I think that that would just kind of be overkill and cover it up. You could certainly do the face if you wanted, right? Okay, I'm gonna take some pics and I'm gonna show you close up, but that's kind of adorable. The only thing that I might do is just add some of that same greenery onto the scarf here, and the same greenery that's on the hat, and a couple of those same little berries if I have some more of them, and just for continuity's sake, and call it quits. So let me know what you think of this little snowman guy. It's just been floating around in my head, and I kept looking for and thrifting, looking to thrift the two little glass things. I thought it would be hard to get two different sizes. It was so easy, and you could do this on a much smaller scale with just tiny little you know, almost glass votive holders in the round. Lots of those in the thrift stores too, for you to be able to check out. And again, you could do the same kind of tiered little look on a much smaller scale. You don't have to do houses then. You could put in a couple of little reindeer or some ornaments or whatever makes sense to you. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. I love hearing from you, and it helps me get an idea of what you find interesting, useful, or helpful. But I had fun with this guy, and he's going home with me, so so he's my decor for Christmas time. Anyway, look forward to seeing you on the next one as always, and until then, take care.